I hereby summon all my imps. Hey everybody, it's Annabelle. We're going to be doing the next 10 cards that came out for us alphabetically. To do a review on it, the next class on our sheet is going to be the priest. Please remember and do not do anything based on my opinions. I am often wrong and I often do not read well. So the number 10 card for priest is going to be, believe it or not, the Harvester of Envy, which is their actual one of the legendary cards, which is a 3-mana 4/3 that says after you play a card copy from your opponent, steal the original. And this is basically, you have to steal a card from your opponent. They happen to not play it. You have to play that card. And then you actually get a card out of their hand. So it's disruption, but it's the most complicated disruption you can hope for. And there are going to be times where your opponent's going to be sad because you took a key card away from them. But there's going to be more times where they're just going to slam it down and you basically got no use out of it. The other thing is that this needs to be out on the board. As soon as you play this down, it's going to die next turn. So you basically need to be in a situation where you're doing that all on one turn. I doubt anybody's going to let this live a turn, just hoping for the best. And it's not hard to deal 3 damage on turn 3 or turn 4. So it's a very complicated way to get pseudo-disruption for a hand, and getting it all to work out in your favor is going to be hard, if not impossible. Number 9 for us is going to be the Suspicious Usher. The Usher is a 1-mana 1/3 that has Battle Cry, discover a legendary minion. If your opponent guesses correctly, you get a copy of it. I believe that this can only get priest legendaries at this time, and not just get any legendary. I'm assuming that's how this is going to work in the long run. If this only gets priest legendaries, I mean, it's okay, but I don't know a priest legendary that you want to run right now. There's some good ones that are in there, but there's some bad ones that are in there. There's a ridiculous one in there, but if you pick the ridiculous one, your opponent's going to get it too. I mean, the ridiculous one we're going to talk about down the road, and even if your opponent gets it, they can't really do much with it, so it's not the end of the world. So you might just discover the ridiculous minion and get it right off the bat in case. So there is a chance that you can get a good one. There is a chance that you can get a bad one. Right now, if it's only priest, there is a limited pool of them to get, and some of them are really worth getting an extra copy of if you're going to play it anyways, and you don't care if your opponent guesses correctly. Number 8 for us is going to be the location card. The location card for priest is the Cathedral of Atonement. Cathedral of Atonement is a 3-mana 3 charge location that has give a minion +2/+1 and draw a card. You need a minion out on the board, and that's the biggest problem with that. Other than that, this card is fine. It's 3 draw for 3 mana spread over 6 turns, and that's the other drawback, but that's just how locations work. If you have any minion that survived anywhere, it's going to give it a buff and you're going to draw. Priest needs draw bad. Yep. Okay, number 7 for us is going to be Identity Theft. Identity Theft is a 3 mana card for priest. It says discover a copy of a card from your opponent's hand and deck. Basically get 2 cards, get some information. It's a +1 card. If you're trying to play thief priest at all, it's fine. There are some cards that synergize with it. It's not bad to play on 3 to just help fill out your hand. The only problem with this one is, is your opponent playing something that you want? But again, you get to discover both. So the chances that your opponent is playing 6 cards you have no use for is slim to none. Number 6 for us is going to be the Boon of the Ascendant. Boon of the Ascendant is a 4-mana cost card for priest that has give a minion +2, and then summon a Cryon with the stats and taunt. So you even play this on a 1/1, you get a 1/3 with taunt, and that's the worst minion you can possibly play this on. It's an extra card, it's a taunt card. There's going to be stuff there's stuff in this set that's good with playing it on this. Giving something +2 and then getting a copy of it isn't the worst thing in the world, but it's not a copy, it's just you get a taunt of it so you don't get any of the death rattles. Just be aware of that. If you do have this card, that you're not getting the death rattles off of it, you're just getting a copy of it with none of the actual text on it. Next one up for us is going to be number 5, which is the Cleanse the Scene. Clean the Scene for number 5, which is the 5-mana priest card that says destroy all minions with 3 or less attack and infuse 3, destroy everything with 6. 3 is going to get rid of anything that's aggro. 6 is going to kill the entire board and almost be a full board wipe. Yes, there's stuff that can be above 6, but it's rare, and Hearthstone see anything with above 6 attack. Possible, but rare. There are times where you're almost going to be sad to get this infused because it does all minions, but this is going to help Priest get to that late game. I'm just not sure what Priest is doing with that late game right now. Number 4 for us is going to be the Mysterious Visitor. Mysterious Visitor is a 2-mana 2/2, has Battle Cry. 2-mana 2/3 that has Battle Cry, reduce the cost of cards copied from your opponent by 2. If you grabbed anything from your opponent anywhere on the game, if you're playing any kind of thief priest, you're going to throw this in here just to reduce those cards. By itself, it's a River Crocodilus, and it's the same stats as River Crocodilus. So it's not the worst card just to play down onto, but you really want 2-3 cards from your opponent by the time you play this down. And playing 2-3 cards that you took from your opponent that are now 2 less, is going to be really good for you to throw this into your deck if you're playing any kind of thief priest. Number 3 for us, so our bronze medal on this one is going to be The Light It Burns. The Light It Burns is a 1-mana priest card that says deal damage to a minion equal to its attack. So this is pretty much any minion that has attack higher than its health, or any minion where its attack is equal to its health. It's going to kill pretty much 1 minion on the board. 1 minion destroy 1 mana, destroy 1 minion. You can't do much better than that. You can even trade in before, trade in after to try to help out with the math, but a lot of times it's just going to kill 1 thing on the board for 1 mana, and that's the best you're hoping for. Which is not a bad thing, by the way. I didn't want to make that sound like that was a bad thing. Number 2 for us, so the silver is going to the Partner in Crime. Partner in Crime is a 4-mana 2/5 that says summon a copy of this minion at the end of your turn. You get to throw this down on 4, and you get to throw stuff on it to help get a better copy of this. Anytime that you're saying make an exact copy of a card, you have to be cautious. There are times where you're going to get 2, 3, 4 extra attack and health on this, and then you get 2 copies of it. Just by itself, it's a 4 mana 4/10. If you do nothing else, it's a 4 mana 4/10. That by itself is just fine. You throw any kind of buff on this, you throw 1 extra defense on this. That's a 4 mana 4/12. That's dragon stats for a lot of stuff. Split over 2 bodies, which actually makes it harder to get past. It's going to be really good to get this. And because you get the chance to get it at the end of the turn, you have some time during your turn to buff this up. So you don't need to have something good on the board already if you have a 2 or 3 extra buffs to throw on this. And the number 1 card, the gold medal on this one, is going to be Pelvis. Pelvis is a 3 mana 1/6 card that says, after you cast a spell on a friendly minion, set its attack and health to the larger of the 2. That's not just including Pelvis. That's any minion that you have. You throw any kind of buff on it. If that minion was a 1/1 and you give it +2 health, it's now a 3/3. You throw something on Pelagos, and it's 1 extra defense. Pelagos becomes a 7/7. That's a 7 mana 3/3 a lot of times if you can on turn 4. That's not hard for Priest to do. And again, even if you slam this down on 3, the chances that your opponent can deal 6 damage on turn 3 or turn 4, depending on how the turn rotation comes around, is pretty hard. This is basically Doomsayer stats, 0/7, but I mean it's 1/6. That's hard to deal with on that turn. It's sticky. And then again, next turn, if you stuck this and you can throw 2 spells down next turn, 1 on Pelagos and 1 on something else that was also on the board, you're getting some good swing back. This is probably the best card for you to get off of anything. This is the go-to card if you're going to be using the other card that finds you a legendary. This is the card you're looking for. If you're playing any kind of buff, any kind of anything, and again, it doesn't have to just be defensive. If you give this +3 attack, it still goes to a 6/6 because the defense is higher. I mean, you can give this +1 attack and it becomes a 6/6. You don't have to always do something that makes logical sense. That's the 10 for Priest. Thank you so much for watching me go through this. And as always, remember, play for fun.